Let's start off this week's show by doing the right thing, of course, and taking our hats off to a number of individuals we need to congratulate. We'll start off with the PSL champions. We tip our hats off to them, and congratulations to Orlando Pirates, of course, for being crowned the league champions for the first time since the year 2014. Now, let's keep it moving along, and, tip our hats off once again and congratulate Mamelodi Sundowns, crowned the CAF Champions League winners, of course, for the first time since 2016. And lastly, we tip our hats off and congratulate the squad that will represent South Africa at the FIFA World Cup. Hugo Broos having named it earlier this week. Good luck to them, and may they do this to us proud behind enemy lines. On that note, hello Mzansi, I'm Sizwe Mabena, joined by Mark Haskins and Jerry Sikhosana. And, well, where do we begin? So much to talk about. Let's start off in the north, battle between north and south. Champions League final. Jerry, we knew the prisoners for Mamelodi Sundowns going in there. Stunning goal to give them the advantage in the first leg. They go behind in the second, and a lovely effort, of course, from ASFAR, but again, a stunning goal to give them the advantage, and of course, the win. What character shown by Sundowns?
Yes, look, I'm more than happy. I'm more than happy as a South African. I mean, for me, I just look at it in a way that you know how dominant North Africa is in terms of the CAF Champions League. So now, more in the Southern Hemisphere. Now we've got 3 stars. I mean, it's something that we can also be proud of. Yeah. And that's what Sundowns did. And, you know, in terms of the performance and everything that happened there, it's something which I anticipated. And remember, Maki, don't forget,
yeah, I know.
I called it. Yeah, I called it for a 1-1 draw, and Sundowns did it. And I'm proud that maybe the 1995 Omen was there when I talk about it here in studio, but in terms of performance, they held it. They just like did everything that was supposed to.
Now, Mark, the Prince Moulay Abdullah Stadium in Rabat has, in the last few months, hosted 2 historical games. One was the AFCON final. Beautiful job in hosting, and we know the drama that came with that during the game, but that's not the focal point here. The second is the Champions League final. Just a few months later, the turnout was absolutely outstanding. The officiating, we need to mention, needed to be top-notch in a pressure game.
And it was.
A lot of passion from the stands as well. And both sets of players, or teams maybe, came to the party and just giving their all as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted an advert for African football and the quality on the continent, this was certainly that. You know, it's a game that you wanted at this level. A massive final, the 2 best teams on the continent this season, and they delivered a spectacle of a performance. And from a Sundowns perspective, it was just written in the stars. You could just feel that it was always going to be their day. Even when, you know, they conceded the first penalty, the way they bounced back and, you know, got that equalizer. And I said as well that the fact that they kept the clean sheet at home almost felt like a 2-0 scoreline, because they got the 1 goal, but they kept a clean sheet. And as soon as they equalized, now, you know, Rabat was under pressure to score another 2 goals. Yeah. And so it was always it was written in the stars, honestly, and Sundowns really put up a solid display.
There was always going to be pressure on each individual on the day to do your job, and collectively the team wins if each individual does their job. And pressure comes with these sort of games. Lunga makes the mistake early in giving away the penalty that's converted. Then you wonder, going forward, how will he respond? In my opinion, he responds well. With the game that he's played for the rest of the day. Williams makes a mistake that gives away a second penalty. You wonder, how will he respond after having converted, not having saved the first penalty? He saves the second where he made the mistake, crucially, keeping the scoreline at 1-1. And lastly, Mokoena. Tough times, man of the moment, comes up and delivers a typical Mokoena stunner. And those are the players that in these sort of situations are the individuals that make a big difference when they really test it, Jerry.
You're talking about character here. If players are more focused in what they want to do, even if you've done the mistake, you don't fall prey to that, especially blaming yourself, but you give it to yourself to say, I want to go there. I mean, you mentioning Lungu. I mean, everybody thought maybe that would be something where as far would go to him again, but he held on. The mistake of Ronwen Williams, and then he saves that penalty. And also the stunning that comes from Mokoena. This is the person that we always say, anywhere as long as inside the field. Because for me, if you say Mokoena, and then you say Talent and Bata, for me, these are two crucial players that anywhere, anyhow, they can hit this a round object very well. And this is what it did. And, you know, people will talk about those old legs of thunder. Hey, I respect these boys now.
Sure.
Personally, the way they characterize themselves right inside the field of play, the way they play. But for Mokoena, for me, heads off.
Ronwen Williams, I remember when I played with him, we went to a penalty shootout against Ajax Cape Town at the time. And Kermit Erasmus, they were very close. Ronwen has this ability when it comes to penalties to just switch on like I've never seen before. And Kermit goes up and he misses. And Ronwen just says to him, no, don't worry, boy. I got this. And the very next penalty, he pulls off a ridiculous save. But it took me back when he conceded the penalty. Literally, that feeling came and I was like,
it's okay.
I was like, nah.
He's got it.
He's got this.
Now, speaking of Ronwen, we have to speak of character as well. Minutes to go until the end of the game. You start seeing him gesturing towards the bench and almost ripping off his armband. And we felt in commentary, Norman, he wants Temba to come on. Weren't entirely sure, but it looked that way. And it turns out, he was saying to the coach, fighting almost with the coach, say, bring Temba on to see out the match. What did you think of that from a leadership point of view?
Oh, you know, if you respect your peers that you play with, especially the captain that is not making the team and you are an asset like the vice captain, you've given that mandate of leading the team. And when you see, mostly it was like 8 minutes of optional time, 4 minutes left on that time. And even the referee had to reprimand him. But he insisted from inside the field to tell the coaches, the technical team maybe, the whole technical team to say, look, bring the person that is supposed to be the captain to lift the cup. I don't want to give the armband when the game is over. Let's have respect. Let him come inside. He gets his armband, and then he's the one that is going to pick up the cup. That's what it did.
So we congratulate Temba, as well as Dennis Onyango. They were part of the 2016 winning sides again. They were part of the 2026 winning sides. We, once again, will continue with congratulating those that have had a great ending to the 25-26 campaign. We take a short break. When we come back, it's the turn of the league champions to step up and get the congratulations from the Game On team.
First teams to score.
Be in the game.
Welcome back to Game On, and let's continue with the celebrations at the end of what's been a thoroughly entertaining campaign. We spoke about the African Champions League, or the CAF Champions League, maybe I should say. Time to focus now on what was quite a campaign and a stronghold on South African football. Mark has been loosened here, and Pirates had some work to do over the years and started the catch-up game some 3 years ago, and have finally gotten the job done. First PSL title in 14 years. They get the treble, and congratulations to them. It wasn't easy, though. And it was never going to be an easy ending to the season, was it?
It should have been.
Yeah.
It should have been, in all honesty. And you felt that with 2 games to go, 1 win, it shouldn't have been as hard as it seemed in those last 2 games. But you can't take anything away from them. They are the champions and they've done exceptional. I'm just a little sad because their run to the title has been somewhat diminished. And, there's all this controversy. Pirates were always good enough to win the league. Pirates were good enough to win the league. And I'm saddened by the fact that there's so much controversy around it, because I think over the length of the season, they were exceptional. There were some games where they absolutely blew our minds, where they played football out of this world, and there shouldn't be that controversy because they were always good enough to do it. And now people talk about they have favors and all these kind of things. You know, it just saddens me that they didn't get the plaudits that they deserve for being an absolutely sensational team this season.
Well, when you look at the Orbit game, the unusual thing is the 2 own goals, I guess. You don't see that every day in a game of football, but it happened. It would have been nicer, sweeter, I think, for Pirates fans if Pirates themselves, with all their stars, Moremi and the rest of the crew, including Mufuging and so on, were able to find the back of the net themselves. If Pirates were to score themselves then, it would have been a sweeter feeling, I think, for the fans to avoid the controversy that Mark speaks of.
Definitely so, Sizwe. But for me, I just take it before the game was played. I mean, the comment of the Orbit coach, when he was talking about a whole lot of players that come from Orlando Pirates development, and then his guidance that comes from
Pirates.
Orlando Pirates. He also played in the Pirates Cup with most of those players. And you know, they are like players that were, I think, loaned, if I'm not mistaken, to Orbit. And now what Mark is saying is truly what's supposed to have happened. But now, if you put things together and think of what the coach spoke about before the game in an interview, and then you look at the performance that happened inside the pitch, and then that's where now it starts having some bit of question marks to say, did Pirates really deserve it or not? Because the coach said it early. But now, how can you compromise yourself being out of the PSL and going to the championship? That's where you can look at it again and say, surely it was something that I really don't understand. Because I cannot compromise myself, because I want somebody to benefit out of that, and then I'm going down the drain. So I don't know how people look at it.
The reality, though, if I can, this is a team that was so good.
Yeah.
They were so good, and so we shouldn't be having this conversation. And it's so unfortunate that we are. But you have to take your hat off, Coach Wadu. I mean, and if it was only the league title, then you'll say, okay. But it's a treble winning season that's marred by controversy. How is that possible when they were really one of the outstanding teams this season?
I have to talk about the fact that with Orbit now, of course, losing that game, we know what that meant for them. Magesi, on the other hand, well, they did what they were supposed to do at home against Richards Bay and pulled the rabbit out of the hat.
literally rabbit out of the hat. Because, coming into this last weekend, if you look at the build-up to the final weekend, Magesi let themselves down a lot of times. I mean, they could have literally played themselves out of trouble, losing at home to Orbit College. You know, there was just results that they needed to get, especially at home. And so ultimately, they needed to get that win against Richards Bay. They did enough to get themselves into the playoff. So they are still alive. Marumo Gallants did what they needed to do, secured their safety. Chippa United secured their safety.
Wow, that's Chippa United though.
Yeah, that's been Chippa United for the longest time. So ultimately, Magesi did what they needed to do. Orbit College, it was always going to be difficult for them to come out of that game with anything. And so Magesi knew that, and knew that a win, any kind of win, would probably keep them alive.
We have to talk about Stellenbosch. I talk about them because they, over the years, have done so well over the last couple of years, or last couple of seasons before the 25-26. In the end, they don't get into the top 8 here. The Nenono Scoreline with Marumo Gallants, meaning they don't get in. Disappointment, but at the same time, a bit of joy that they weren't in the relegation battle, a part of the league where they were for so much of this 25-26 campaign, where they were down at the bottom. But still, disappointment in not getting into the top 8.
Yeah, I mean, this was the worst season for Stellenbosch if you reckon what happened to them since they came into the fold of the PSL. And at one stage, yes, fighting for relegation, and then obviously the change of coaching staff where Gavin Hunt is to come in when Steve Parker left. But I think for them, it wasn't maybe another factor of maybe getting into the top 8, maybe just to save their status and then try and do a build-up. You know what Kevin can do. You know, if he's given like the preseason to start with the team, I mean...
He's also criticized the side, saying once they secured safety, the players almost just...
They switched off.
Yeah, tools down,
I mean,
which denied them a top 8 squad.
That's basically what he's going to deal with. Yeah. Because for me, if this Stellenbosch team is going to come next season, it's going to be guns blazing. Because I know he won't just take anything for granted. I mean, you're talking about a good coach that has won many titles in this PSL. So yeah, it's going to be a different Stellenbosch. Unfortunately for now, hard luck for them not to qualify for the top 8.
Well, so that's how we conclude the 25-26 PSL season. And again, congratulations to the champions, the new champions in Orlando Pirates. We keep things moving along. So we've touched on the Champions League. Congratulate the Sundowns. We've congratulated the Pirates and the PSL. Where possibly can we go next? World Cup squad. That's up next on Game On. Game On continues with the news now focusing on the FIFA World Cup, which is coming up, and well, many have been awaiting the announcement from Hugo Broos, the South African coach, on who will make the trip to, well, face the very best in the world, representing South Africa for the first time since 2010 at a FIFA World Cup. Jerry and Mark still joining me here, and two big surprises. In this case for me, I think it's safe to say, will come in the defensive side with Makanya as well as Brendan Cross making the squads here. But Jerry, your thoughts on those two and everybody else in the squad?
I think, Sizwe, I'll just give good credit and better one because I'm one kind of a person that also was following Oluwatu Makanya in the USA. I mean, at one stage when I saw him making sure that a great player like Messi couldn't go past him. I mean, I was like, is he really a South African? Why is he not? And you also look at the age. I mean, he's still a young fellow. I mean, he's good enough to be here. Because if now you do the comparison with Mbogazi, for me, if maybe he gets a chance to be paired, both of them to be paired together, I mean, you'd see a great defense. But yeah, I mean, the whole defense, more than happy with that. Also Cross, also a uncapped player like Oluwatu. But let's see how it goes. But for me, I mean, it's a balanced team at the back, and you can play anybody that you want. Ndaman is there, Sibisi is there, Matuluri from Polokwane City, obviously Modau, Modiba, Sibelebele again. So, I mean, it's just a lot of option and quality players that are there. Mark?
Yeah, again, I didn't expect defenders dominate the squad.
Sure.
Because you got 11 defenders there, and there's so much variety, so much you can choose from there, and the coach has really given himself, a deep defense, especially. The midfield, I think, chose themselves.
Yep.
Up front, you feel for a guy like Tito Masangani, does exceptionally well. Tapelo Morena, unfortunately, he's been so good for Bafana for so many years. He misses out.
I think it's important to point out that the Sundowns coach, upon the return from Morocco, pointed out that with the schedule Sundowns have had this year, 2 players suffered, he feels, because of the schedule Sundowns have had. Obas is one, who played a big part in us qualifying, and another is Morena.
No, for sure. And those are just the casualties of modern football.
Of war.
Casualties of war, certainly. But you can't begrudge the coach for anyone he's selected. Obviously, in the goalkeeping department, Kaizer Chiefs fans will feel that Brandon Peterson should have been there. But you can only go with 3. And, whoever he chose, whoever misses out was always going to be hard done by.
All in all, when you look at the squad, is it more or less what we expected from Hugo Broos? And let's talk unity now. The spine of the squad. Is it pretty much the same as what we've seen over the years here? When you consider the 3 goalkeepers we're used to, defensively maybe there's the biggest changes, but is the spine more or less the same?
I'm happy with it. Yes, it's pretty much the same. I'm happy Ikram Reyners is there.
Sure.
We needed that extra striker. Just give us a different option.
Something different.
The 3 strikers are all very different players.
Yes.
And so you need that. You need that variety in the squad. So down the spine, Tebogo Mokoena, Jaden Adams, Talent Mbata, whoever's going to, feature there, they're great. Defensively, I think that's the centre backs. That's where, the coach is going to have to do some work before the first game to get his best centre back pairing.
I mean, for me, if I have to maybe being given the chance to start the central midfield, honestly, and purely so, I would go for the 2 boys, Adams and Mokoena.
Yeah.
That understanding.
Yep.
you know, there you've got like unity.
Sure.
They understand each other. Yes, you still have Pelelo Sithole, Talent Mbata, but yeah, I think I'm more than happy.
I think we'll all give them a hand, those two, especially in the Champions League knockout stages. That combination came out strong for Mamelodi Sundowns behind enemy lines, including in the home games, and was truly impressive. And take our hats off to Jaden Adams. After a slow start to the campaign that saw him out of the national team, he's really impressed in the second half to earn his place in the World Cup. No one is complaining in that regard. Now, we've made a lot of noise about the start of the Hollywood Bets Super League. Again, just to remind you, there's some key changes. The matches are taking place, so each match day is a festival. We already have had the first festival, which we'll get to in a moment. Just to let you know, 2 streams as well. Jerry, is the Super Era and the Super Rise in the 2 streams. The final, the winner of the league, will come through what will be a match that will be played with the winner of the Super Era and the other division as well in the way of the Super Rise. And 2 will be relegated at the end of the season. That'll go down to the Sasol Championship, 2 coming up from the Sasol Championship. Let's find out more about the first festival of this current campaign.
A new era in the Hollywood Bet Super League was ushered in, with a changed format creating a buzz in the air amongst football lovers around the country. There is always a different energy when something is new. That's because it's fresh, exciting, and you can feel the energy in the air. The University of Johannesburg campus in Soweto hosted the first festival of the season, and we expected nothing but the best when it came to the football action, with the anticipation being at an all-time high leading up to this one.
It's been a 5-month pre-season, so I think they're a bit sick and tired of just pre-season. I think they're excited to just be playing games. All in all, our preparations were good, our fitness levels are good, so yeah, good pre-season.
JVWFC and Ramatlawuhle got the new campaign started, with both clubs looking to start on a high. We were treated to a blockbuster contest, with both teams giving their all in the match. It was JVW, however, who were at their rampant best, scoring 4 goals in the contest, while their opponents managed just 1 strike. Key players such as Mpumi Nyandeni and Monolo Mokoma truly stepped up to the plate for JVW, but overall it was a good team display that saw them walk away with the maximum points.
The nerves are gone now. I think we had a really good first game, a little bit shaky in the beginning, but I'm happy with the performance. There's a lot of pressure on us, especially with the way we ended last year and the way we performed. So it's only up from here, so we have to make sure that every game counts and we capitalize on every single one of them. So a very important win because it sets the tone for the rest of the season.
With the new setup for the season, it's exciting. We got to push every game. We got to get as many goals every game. So tonight's performance just proved that we're ready and we're getting ready to come out on top.
For Ramatlawuhle, it's back to the drawing board, with their coach admitting that it was a rough start to the new Hollywood Bets Super League season.
Yeah, I would say a better pill to swallow, but we are beaten by a good side. We're taking a lesson out of this game. I told my ladies not to drop their heads because of according to me, they played absolutely wonderful. They fought for the team, but it was unfortunate that we were playing against a side that is technically good, physically good in all the angles. Like if you saw first half, we tried to play a low block. The plan was to sustain them probably up until halftime. Maybe go to halftime with a 0-0 scoreline, and then when we come back, we're going to play a 4-3, of which that's what we did, taking the game to them, of which now it started to open up. So I believe my girls did very well, but we can take a lesson out of this game.
Wow, time flies when you are having fun, and we've had to congratulate a lot in the way of players in the PSL, the Champions League, and those that have qualified for the national team and the World Cup. We also have had to congratulate, or would like to congratulate, the Hollywood Best Super League for getting off to a flying start. And that ends the show. And as far as Game On this week, until next week from us is click, click, bang.